All right, folks, let's dig in. We need to talk about the one hunting caliber that is absolutely running the tables here in 2025. I'm hearing it everywhere. From the guys behind the counter at my local shop to the chatter around the skinning shed at deer camp. This is the round that everybody's talking about. And look, this isn't just some flavor of the month internet hype. What we're seeing is a round that delivers scalpel-like precision. It's got downrange ballistics you can set your watch to, and it offers a level of flexibility that just flat out works. It doesn't care if you're stalking through dense hardwoods or setting up a tripod on a windy ridgeline. But here's the hard truth of the matter. The demand is astronomical. It's completely outstripping supply. I'm watching boxes of this stuff evaporate off the shelves faster than I've ever seen. Stick with me through this breakdown, because by the end of this, you're going to understand exactly how this cartridge fought its way to the #1 spot in the hunting world. Let's get to it. Number 5. 300 Winchester Magnum. Starting our list at the number 5 spot, we've got the 300 Winchester Magnum. Now, around the range, pretty much everyone just calls it the 300 Win Mag. This old workhorse has been packing freezers and putting meat on the table since Winchester introduced it way back in 1963. And let's be perfectly clear, this is a serious cartridge for serious hunting. It was engineered from day one with one mission: taking big game at extended ranges. We're talking elk, we're talking moose, or that big bear you glassed way across the canyon. It's sending a .308-inch diameter bullet downrange. You're typically going to find it loaded in that 150 to 220 grain weight class. Now, right at the muzzle, that lighter 150 grain load is absolutely screaming. It's pushing right around 3,300 feet per second. When you do the math, that translates to roughly 3,600 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. That is a ton of authority. It's more than enough to get deep penetration and punch right through the vitals of thick-skinned, heavy-boned game. Its trajectory runs incredibly flat, which lets a good shooter make confident, ethical shots well past 400 yards if you do your part behind the trigger. You'll find it chambered in some of the most legendary bolt actions ever made, like the Remington 700 and the classic Winchester Model 70. But what really solidifies the 300 Win Mag's place is its incredible flexibility. This single cartridge can responsibly and ethically take just about everything on the North American continent: deer, elk, moose, you name it. But, like everything else in this world, it's all about trade-offs. First, the recoil. That kick. It is stout. It hits hard. That's the first thing new shooters notice, and it's definitely what they remember. Factory-loaded ammunition isn't cheap either. You can fully expect a box of 20 to set you back $50, and even more if you're buying premium-grade hunting loads. And let's be honest, for smaller game, like a white-tailed deer at 50 yards, it is just way too much cartridge. It's overkill. Pros: you are getting fantastic long-range reach. You've got serious knockdown energy for big animals. Ammunition is easy to find, and it's incredibly versatile across multiple species. Cons: you are absolutely going to feel that heavy recoil impulse. You've got a higher cost per box. It's just completely unnecessary power for small game. And the rifles built to handle it tend to run heavier. Number 4. 7mm Remington Magnum. Sliding into our number 4 spot, the 7mm Remington Magnum. This one first showed up back in 1962. It was built for a very specific job: to give hunters a Magnum cartridge that shoots flat as a laser, but without the punishing, shoulder-bruising recoil of its bigger brothers. This round is launching a .284-inch projectile. Your common bullet weights are typically going to fall right between 140 and 175 grains. Right out of the muzzle, a good 150 grain load can clock in just shy of 3,000 feet per second. That's delivering right around 3,000 foot-pounds of energy when it leaves the barrel. For hunters who are out chasing whitetail, mule deer, elk, or even moose, this thing maintains a deadly accurate flight path all the way out to 500 yards and even further. You'll very often see it chambered in fantastic rifles, like the Ruger M77 or the Browning X-Bolt. Now, what shooters and hunters really love about the 7mm Rem Mag is its trajectory, its flight path. It just shoots flat. That means you, the hunter, don't have to dial your scope or hold over the target nearly as much. That gives you a critical edge, especially if you happen to misjudge the range by a little bit. And thanks to those high ballistic coefficients, what we call a high BC bullet, It bucks the wind much better than a lot of other hunting cartridges out there. Now let's talk about the drawbacks. Ammunition is not cheap. You really need to expect to pay 40, maybe $60 for a quality box of 20 rounds. The recoil is definitely noticeable. Look, it's not a 22, but it is still significantly easier on the shoulder than a 300 Win Mag. It's more of a sharp push than a punch. And just like that Win Mag, when you're talking about close-range shots on smaller game animals, it can, and it will, destroy good meat with that excessive energy transfer. Pros: you're getting true flat-shooting performance. It has excellent long-range capability. It is very effective on medium to large game. And it has very strong wind resistance. Cons: it's pricey ammo. The recoil isn't light, but it's not brutal. It's generally overpowered for smaller animals, and the rifles tend to weigh a bit more just to soak up that recoil. Number 3. 6.5 Creedmoor. Holding down our number 3 spot is the 6.5 Creedmoor. Now, Hornady rolled this one out back in 2007. And at first, this was purely a precision competition cartridge. It was designed from the ground up to win matches. But it did not take long for hunters to catch on and realize just how incredibly useful this round is out in the field. It fires a .264-inch bullet. Most of your factory loads are going to range from 120 up to 147 grains. A solid 140 grain load usually leaves the muzzle right around 2,900 feet per second. That's going to equal out to roughly 2,600 foot-pounds of energy. For deer, for antelope, and yes, even for elk at moderate, sensible distances, the Creedmoor has become a default, go-to choice for a lot of folks. The real advantage here is that high ballistic coefficient. We call these bullets slippery in the wind. That translates directly to less bullet drop and less wind drift over distance. It makes the round exceptionally predictable all the way out to 600 yards and even further. You'll find it chambered in fantastic, highly affordable rifles, like the Savage 1110 and the Ruger American. Ammo is widely available, and it generally runs you about $30 to $40 a box, which is very reasonable in today's market. On top of all of that, the recoil is light. I mean light. This means new shooters, younger hunters, or smaller-framed folks can shoot it comfortably. And more importantly, they can shoot it accurately, without developing a flinch. But it is not the perfect answer for every single situation. It simply does not have the raw, brute force stopping power, the sheer authority that you get from the larger magnums. Those lighter, smaller diameter bullets don't always give you the deep, bone-crushing penetration you really need on truly tough animals, like a big bull moose or a grizzly. And believe it or not, in some very rural, off-the-grid areas, boxes of Creedmoor can still be harder to track down compared to the old-school classics. Pros: you get superb, almost surgical accuracy. You get very light, manageable recoil. It's extremely long-range friendly, and the factory ammo is affordable. Cons: it has limited energy on the absolute biggest, toughest game. Penetration can be shallow on thick-boned animals. It's not as common as you'd think in some small-town shops. And it's really not the best choice for close-range brush hunting. Number 2. 30-06 Springfield. At the number 2 spot, we have the venerable 30-06 Springfield. This cartridge has been on the job since 1906. That makes it one of the most proven, one of the most trusted hunting cartridges in all of American history. This round literally fed this country through the tough times. It fires that same .308-inch bullet as the 300 Win Mag. Most factory loads are going to run between 150 and 180 grains. With a standard 150 grain bullet, your muzzle velocity is right around 2,900 feet per second. That gives you roughly 2,800 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle. The 30-06 is the absolute definition of an all-around performer. Whitetail, mule deer, black bear, elk, even moose, the 30-06 can handle it. And it has handled it for over a century. You'll see it chambered in those timeless classic rifles, like the Remington 700 and the Winchester Model 70. Hunters love it because it just strikes a perfect, time-tested balance. You get plenty of power, plenty of authority, but you get it without the brutal, punishing recoil of a true magnum. Ammunition is everywhere. I mean literally everywhere. And it usually runs an affordable $20 to $30 a box. And with a capable shooter behind the trigger, it holds solid, minute of animal accuracy out to 400 yards. So, what are the trade-offs? Well, it's an older design. It's a long-action cartridge. It just doesn't shoot as flat as the modern Magnums or the 6.5. That means your long-distance shots are going to take more adjustment. More Kentucky windage, as the old-timers say. The recoil is noticeable, especially if you're shooting those heavier 180 grain bullets all day at the range to get sighted in. And the rifles chambered in it often come with a little bit more weight, which honestly isn't always a bad thing for soaking up that recoil. Pros. It is adaptable to nearly every single North American hunt. The ammo is affordable and unbelievably easy to find, and its overall performance is consistent and totally reliable. Cons. The recoil is something you're definitely going to feel after a long day. It is not as flat shooting as modern Magnums. You'll see slightly less precision at extreme distances, and the rifles can be on the heavier side. Number 1. 308 Winchester. And landing at the number 1 spot. The 308 Winchester. Released to the civilian market back in 1952, this round is sitting at the very top of the heap in 2025. Hunters all across the country are actively seeking out this round, and for very, very good reason. It uses the exact same .308-inch bullet as the 30-06. Most hunting loads are right in that sweet spot, the 150 to 180 grain range. A standard 150 grain bullet typically clocks in at about 2,800 feet per second. That's going to equal out to around 2,600 foot-pounds of energy. This is the perfect medicine for whitetail, black bear, hogs, and yes, even elk at a moderate, responsible distance. The key to the 308's success is its short-action design. This is the civilian version of the military's 7.62 NATO cartridge. This short-action design means the rifles themselves can be built lighter, shorter, and just plain handier. Think about rifles like the Ruger American or the Savage 1110. That compact profile makes it so much easier to carry in the field, whether you're walking miles of thick timber or you're sitting and glassing a ridgeline all day. The 308 has earned its rock-solid reputation for excellent accuracy, very modest recoil, and just dead-nuts dependable performance. Ammunition is generally $20 to $30 a box, and it is stocked in nearly every single gun shop across America, from the biggest big-box store right down to the smallest mom-and-pop hardware store. It's chambered in bolt actions, semi-autos, pump actions hunting rifles of every single conceivable style. That sheer availability and versatility is a huge part of why it remains so incredibly popular. But it does have its limits. Once you get past 300 yards, you are going to see more significant bullet drop compared to the Magnums and the Creedmoor. On truly massive animals, like a big bull moose or a brown bear, it is considered underpowered by most experienced hunters. And when you get to those heaviest bullets, your velocity does start to fall off pretty quickly in that short case. Pros. You get affordable and widely available ammunition. You get very manageable recoil. It has outstanding out-of-the-box accuracy. And there is just a massive selection of rifles and ammo. Cons. It is weaker at extreme long range. It really doesn't have enough punch for the absolute biggest animals, and your velocity does dip significantly with the heavy-for-caliber projectiles. And that wraps up our breakdown of the top 5 hunting calibers for 2025. From the heavy-hitting muscle of the 300 Win Mag to the classic do-it-all 30-06, and finally, the incredible balance and practicality of the 308 Winchester. These are the rounds that are truly dominating the hunting world right now. But at the end of the day, choosing the right caliber always comes down to your hunting style, the terrain you're working, and the specific animals you're chasing. So, now I want to hear from you. What is your go-to hunting cartridge? Drop your pick down in the comments and share some of your hunting stories with the rest of us. If you enjoyed this breakdown, and you got some real value out of it, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. Go ahead and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any more hunting tips, caliber discussions, and gear reviews. Stay safe out there. Respect the outdoors. And happy hunting in 2025. We'll see you in the next one.